What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about 3 different ways you guys can run an out route. We're going to be talking about a dive release, we're going to be talking about a wide step release, and we're going to be talking about how you can use a peek back technique at the top of like a speed out, a deeper out, 10 to 12 yard out to get some separation. And guys, if you're a receiver and you want to get better at catching the football, but you don't have a quarterback to throw you the ball, check out that link in the description that says improve your hands in 30 days. Full 30-day catching program with hand-eye coordination drills you can do by yourself, grip strength drills you can do by yourself, and just repetition drills that you guys can do to improve your hands. Check out that link in the description that says improve your hands in 30 days. Let's get started with this breakdown. So number one here, we're going to be talking about this wide step release here, right? So this is something that you could use anytime you want to take maybe an outside release. If your feet, well, his feet are split here, right? So he's got his left foot up and his right foot on the inside, and that's usually for timing purposes, okay? That's what I've seen this used before, and it's usually for timing purposes. Now, when he decides to go with this release, right, he's going to go with this little subtle, someone call it a false step. I call it more of like a power step to shoot his back leg out wide, right? Step outside of this DB's frame, get him to lean to this outside, then burst up and then break back out, right? So the goal is to get him to lean to the outside so I can create some space. And I like this wide step release when we're in this situation, right? Maybe I'm off the ball. I got a yard or two to work on this DB, so I can really sell like I'm trying to cross his space. So let's watch it full speed. So he goes here, 1-2, gets him to lean to the inside, bursts up, second outside. Well, technically his outside step or his inside step, I guess you could say, because his feet are opposite. That's what we're used to seeing. But we're going to be looking at this route and the technique behind this release to get this DB to jump, and then I push up vertical, right? So this wide step release show, he goes here, and this little subtle false step, right? Or power step, as I like to call it. This little subtle step serves to shoot his opposite leg outside, right? Because on a wide step, what a lot of people like to do, and this is a mistake I've made before too, I've coached this mistake before as well, is that this outside leg, you just go straight there, right? You're here, and then you step straight outside the guy's frame from just this position right here. Now, it becomes a lot easier when you decide to pick up that front foot and you give a little bit of not acceleration, but a little bit more of a burst, because you're using that first step to propel you outside, to shoot you outside, so you could really push and get some momentum to sell like you're just trying to cross this guy's face right now to get him to jump and get him to react, right? Because that's the whole goal of this wide step. We're trying to sell like I'm going inside right now in this situation. If we were flipped and my feet were reversed, I'd want to do it when I have an inside release and I'm trying to sell like I'm just going outside right now, right? So maybe this is a very drag heavy team. Maybe this is a very quick slant heavy team, right? And you guys want to work this. So now, that first step, it serves to push, right? So he's pushing off that first step, and you see how he throws his upper body, fully commits his hips, shoulders to the inside, right? So we want to make sure that when I do this move, I'm not completely opening up my hips to the point where I can't burst back up outside or burst back up upfield, because I'm opened up with my hips, my toe is way opened up, and I don't have any explosion. We got to be able to do this same thing, throw my upper half, be able to get my hips committed, shoulders committed, eyes to the inside to get him to react, but we got to be able to drive off of this break leg. And you see how he's able to push. You kind of see the last little glimpse of it right here, how he's pushing off of this leg, right? We get some separation. I want to push. Now, let's say he doesn't commit as much as we would like him to in this situation. What hand do I got to beat? Because what release do I want to take? I want to take an outside release in this scenario, so we got to beat this outside hand. So you could either rip with your right hand and just chop it down. You could swap with your left, rip under with the right. I like just to rip over the top with the right hand, protect your rib cage. Don't swing it way over the top and just chop his opposite arm off. If you could get him to a point where he has no hands on you and he's leaning way to the inside, I'm able to burst upfield and create some space, make this cut, and then get out of this break. That's a great job here. This is a great route. Let's watch it again full speed. So this is a wide step release that you guys can use when you're running an out route. You can work the same idea. Like, let's say your feet are flipped. Let's say your offense doesn't require this for timing. Let's say your right foot's up. You could go take that little hesitation step with your right foot, throw your left foot outside, then push back in and go right. So you could go right, left, right. You want to think in threes in that scenario and use that first step. It's just a little subtle false power step that shoots you back out wide. You push back off that wide step back to the inside. So you work that 1-2, and we get this DB to lean to the inside, and then I create some space, right? So let's watch this thing full speed. So he goes here, 1-2, burst upfield, break this thing off. Great route here. Great job getting separation on this out route. So now we're going to be looking at this like hesitation dive release here by Claypool, okay? So the main thing is this little hesitation, right? serves to change up the tempo for this DB and really sell like I'm running a drag trying to cross his face, right? So, or just I'm trying to take an inside release. So you see how he goes hesitation, 1-2, and throws him by, swats him by. It's a great job working his hand technique and then being able to create some separation. So it's another way you guys can run a quick route. Now, I also like the dive release on maybe a deeper route, right? I like this dive release, maybe not off the hesitation because of a timing issue. against you, but maybe we just go straight there. Maybe we just cross his face right now. 1, 2, get him to lean to the inside, maybe get his hips to commit, and then I take this outside, right? Now, if he stays disciplined on the inside, again, releases are all about reacting, right? So let's say he were to just stay disciplined and you take that 1, 2, we could probably just fight to get this inside release, try to work to restack, then break this thing off, right? Because sometimes the DB's just going to be able to play it well. He's just going to play it well, but we got to be able to react, right? So you see how he comes off the line here. He gives him this little hesitation skip, right? All that serves to do is stop this DB's timing, right? Or not his timing, but it serves to slow his tempo down, right? I slow his tempo down. I get his feet to stop. I get him. He's trying to match my tempo. And then I take off fast across his face to really make him think, oh shit, I got to recover. I don't want to chase him, especially in man coverage, right? And this is a release that will not threaten a guy as much in one-on-ones because, again, he's not really worried about you running a drag in one-on-ones because it's usually not something that you're going to work in one-on-ones. You want to be working more routes that you're going to like against man coverage. I mean, we do like a drag against man coverage, but in a game situation, it's a little bit more of a threat because in one-on-ones, it's like, oh, cool, you beat me on a drag. You know what I mean? Like it's not something that you want to work in maybe that situation, but in a game situation, and that's what you should be working in practice, this 100% is something that you can use, right? So now this 1, 2 that he takes, right, he goes he goes here. So he takes a little hesitation, and it's a 1, 2, 3. Right? So it's 3 hard steps to the inside because he came off of a little hesitation here, right? But when we just go straight off the line, we take that first step and go here. We go 1, we go straight across and we shoot this thing off. But because he came off with a little hesitation, he goes 1, 2, 3. Now that 1, 2, 3, you see how he's here. He's fully committed with his shoulders, fully committed with his hips. His eyes are to the inside and he's got speed. I think that's something that a lot of people don't do on this. They chop their steps. They'll run this dive release or a diamond release and they'll go 1, 2 real choppy and they won't gain any ground. That DB's just going to shuffle with me. He's going to stay disciplined. He's not going to open up that gate. How we get him to open up his gate is to make sure I commit my hips, commit my shoulders, and I'm fast on whichever 45-degree angle I choose. Like I got to run a slant, and I want to take him on this 45 to the outside. I got to commit to it, right? I'm working this dive release back to the inside. I got to commit to it to get him to open up this gate. Now, again, we know he's going to try to get hands here. I got to work to get back outside. Let's try to swat him by on his right shoulder because he's going to open that gate. If I could get hands on that right shoulder and throw him by, right, because I get his hips to commit, I swat him by, his hips lock out towards the inside, and then I'm able to create some space. And you see how this offhand, let's take a look at his right hand right here. He doesn't swing this thing way up in the air. He swats and then bats him down, and he's able to accelerate off of this position. When we're in this position and we get, when we're in this position here, and we get him to swat by, because he might not fall like he does in this scenario. He might keep his feet, but I'm still going to be able to get some space. This is one of the most crucial positions of the route because I got to make sure that I continue to drive out. I pump my arms and I accelerate out of this break to widen that gap with the DB. That's the entire goal of this dive release. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time again. So he hesitates, 1, 2, 3, swats him by, and then accelerates off that break. Great route here by Claypool. All right, so now we're going to be talking about a move that you guys can use at the top of the route. And there are a couple of different moves you can use at the top of the route on this, right? This is not the only one, but this is one that I like to work with my guys at least. So let's watch it full speed here with Kittle. Not going to focus too much on the release, but you see when he gets to the top of the route, he gives this heavy indicator jab, and he gives this little peek back with his eyes, right? So this little peek back, what that serves to do, and this DB should be watching his hips, right? So the thing about the peek back, and normally what I teach on a peek back is like if we're running an out, and let's say we're not on turf, and we're going like third inside step is when you're breaking off on the out. I usually teach my guys to look on that, like about that second inside step to really hold your eyes because the longer that DB can feel your head turning back to the ball and see your body kind of giving that slight angle to the inside, selling like we're catching a seam, the more he's going to be a little bit greedy and try to bite on the inside of this thing, right? He should be focusing on your hips, but if you turn your head, your body's going to turn, right? And he's going to be focusing on your body. So he sees your body turn. That's just going to get him leaning to the inside. And obviously he could still, even when he's looking at your hips, he could still kind of tell maybe out of his peripheral vision or whatever, he could see that your upper half is turning, right? So that's going to get him to be a little bit more greedy and want to undercut this thing to the inside. Like maybe we're just running a post or like an over route or a seam, right? And he's going to want to undercut it and make a play on this ball. So my eyes are real important. Now, what Kittle does here is he shows at the last second, right? So it's more of like he's selling like he's breaking off this thing and running a post right now, and he's violent with this cut. He's heavy with that cut. It's a heavy indicator cut, and that gets this DB to jump to, this linebacker, I should say, to jump to the inside, right? So we can work a couple different things in this scenario. I got to run an out route, and let's say I work to restack. I could work a rocker step where I go 1, 2, right? And I work my body, so I go right then left, and I work my whole upper body on on it. I could work that peek back, or I could work this heavy indicator cut that Kittle does here with a little bit of a peek back at the top of this thing, really selling it with his eyes, selling it with his head, selling it with his upper half. So there's 3 different ways you can run a route, or an out route, a deeper out route at the top of the route. This is just one of them. Kittle working that heavy indicator cut right there. Let's watch it again one more time. So again, it's very important that I give my eyes back to that quarterback. When I make that cut, it's heavy. I continue to accelerate out and I widen that gap with the DB. That's the most important after we create that energy at the top of the route. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate you watched the full thing through. I hope this gave you guys some value on some releases you can use on an out route, a quicker route, and what some moves you could use at the top of a deeper out route, like a 10-yard out, 12-yard out, 6-step out, whatever it might be, okay? And guys, also, if you want to improve your hands, check out that link in the description that says improve your hands in 30 days. If you guys have any questions on any of this, please feel free to leave those in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'll see you guys next time.